Not feeling creative? Neither am I. That's why today we're playing with the new Sharpie Creative Markers. And between you and me, they're highly underrated. Welcome back. I'm Christine, and this is Mike. Say hi. I think it's time that the Sharpie Creative Markers get the hype that they deserve. Sure, they don't have a huge color range and can be a bit streaky, but they're easy to use and a great tool to break through creative blocks and get your ideas flowing again. Feel free to use your Sharpie Creative Markers with supplies you already have. There's no reason to limit yourself to one art supply. If inspiration strikes and you want to use something that I'm not using, go for it. For this first idea, I wanted to create something that's a bit more abstract. I'm going to start by creating a background using acrylic paint. I'm using bold, bright colors. I don't want to be perfect, but I also don't want to make mud. So I'm being very careful how I place all of my colors. I'm using acrylic painting techniques, but you can use any type of paint you like. I think this would work great with watercolor. Once it's dry, I'm going to grab my black Sharpie Creative Marker and make some big, bold doodles. I'm trying to create some flowers and a lily pad because that seems easy enough for me right now. I also don't need a reference. I love bright, bold colors. The brighter, the better. Painting loose like this can make art feel fun and freeing because there's no pressure to be perfect. It's all about playing with color, embracing happy accidents, and letting creativity flow without overthinking. I basically went crazy with my markers until I had enough of it and I didn't want to look at it anymore. A few days later, I came back to shoot the final reveal and was surprised by how much I loved it. It was fun creating something abstract, and as a result, I found myself excited about the next idea. A common complaint about Sharpie Creative Markers is that they don't come with a lot of colors, which is a valid point, but the truth is you don't need a ton of colors to spark creativity in your sketchbook. Sometimes having too many colors can actually hold you back from getting creative, which is why for this next idea, I'm keeping it simple with just a few colors and black. The concept is easy. Pick an animal or object and block in each color. I started by filling in the areas closest to my light source with the lightest color, yellow. Then, for the shadowed areas, I used my darkest color, pink, to create depth and contrast. This helps emphasize the light and shadow in the piece, giving it more dimension and making the overall design stand out. You can leave it exactly like this, but if you're feeling courageous, I invite you to pull out another art supply and add more detail like this. I wanted to add florals again to show you how the same concept can be incorporated into a different painting. I'm using my Sharpies again to create the base colors of the flowers. I actually sketched out the shapes that I wanted for the flowers, but as I colored them in, I changed them because I can never make up my mind. Once I'm kind of happy with how everything looks, I grab my acrylic paint and I use it to blend everything together. I didn't realize that all of my paint palettes were dirty. Instead of taking the time to clean them, I'm using a scrap piece of sticker paper instead. The best part is that I don't have to clean up anything when I'm done. I am very lazy when I have to clean my art supplies. Sometimes it stops me from getting creative, and other times I find a quick solution like this so I don't mess up my creative flow. This part was interesting because the acrylic paint blends perfectly into the Sharpie Creative Markers. This made the flowers look soft and delicate. After I was happy with the flowers, I went back over everything with a black and white Sharpie Creative Marker to add finishing touches. And it was done. For this next idea, I encourage you to create monsters. If you're new here, you may not know this, but I am obsessed with creating little monsters. They are fun, easy to make, and when you come up with little stories to go along with them, it can inspire you to keep creating and make you feel creative again. Let me introduce you to Manny the Valentine's Day cookie. Yes, it is Valentine's Day, so all of these monsters are candy and Valentine's themed. My goal this year is to create monsters for every single holiday, and Valentine's Day is the first one. Manny the Cookie loves Valentine's Day, mostly because his favorite color is pink. His bright pink frosting pairs perfectly with his yellow cookie. At first I wanted to make a chocolate chip cookie with pink frosting, but since Sharpie Creative Markers don't have a light brown, I had to get creative. In order to make everything look right, I ended up adding some acrylic paint. Then I used my colored pencils to try and blend everything together. Slowly but surely, Manny came to life. However, Manny is shocked to learn that people actually eat cookies. I assured him that only the ones that don't turn into little cookie monsters get eaten, but he's still slightly horrified. Hence the shocked look on his face. I'll have to find a way to cheer him up. Let's move on to the next monster. As you can see, I already have it sketched out. It's because I am so bad at sketching on camera. It is sketching and scribbling, erasing, camera shaking chaos. And I don't want to put you through that. Maybe one day I'll do a live where we can create a monster together and you can see me sketch in real time. I don't know, it could be a thing. We'll find out. But for right now, let's talk about this monster. This monster's name is Sammy. Now, I'm starting Sammy the same way as everything else in this video. I'm starting with blocking in the biggest areas of color with my Sharpie Creative Markers. Once everything is blocked in with color, I'm gonna go in with some acrylic paint and colored pencils to bring Sammy the monster to life. So let's talk about Sammy. Sammy is a sweetheart. Sammy is a fuzzy monster with a big squishy heart that loves to collect heart-shaped objects. He started collecting hearts the day he found a tiny paper heart on the ground with the words, "You are loved," written on it. No one knows where it came from. He carried it everywhere and started searching for hearts just like it. He carried every single heart that he collected, and he collected so many that he couldn't hold them all anymore. So he started to share them with his friends. And from that day on, collecting and sharing hearts became his favorite thing in the world. What did I tell you? Sammy is a sweetheart. We love Sammy. Let's move on to the last monster, which is a gumball machine. Now, I did a quick swatch because I wasn't sure if I wanted to use pink or red. I decided to go with red. I think red is a classic gumball machine color. Yes, I just did that. I created Manny, Sammy, and Fanny. I wanted to create characters with similar names. I thought it would be fun. It's fun, right? Fanny is a very interesting character because all of my characters are sweet and cute and funny, but Fanny is a little different. In a quirky little candy shop far, far away, there stood a gumball machine. Unlike the other gumball machines, Fanny has big, goofy teeth, but no hole to give out gumballs. Fanny doesn't want to share her gumballs. She believes that if she gives out her gumballs, she'll shrivel up into a sad, empty husk of a gumball machine with nothing but dust and regret inside. She's a little overdramatic. Of course, none of this is actually true. It's just a story that Fanny has created in her head. Despite her obsession with keeping all of her gumballs, we still love Fanny. At this point, you should be feeling inspired, creative, courageous. If not, I have failed you and you can leave. But if I have inspired you, I challenge you to create an expressive portrait. This is your opportunity to use all of your Sharpie Creative Markers to add layers and layers of color. Don't worry about getting everything perfect. Just focus on creating bold, expressive lines filled with color. The most important part about this sketchbook idea is to loosen up and incorporate some of the techniques and the styles that we used earlier in this video to create something interesting. As you loosen up, you'll start to see the faces in a fun and unique way, and you might even be able to tie it into a story. As an example, let's come up with a story for this piece together. To me, this woman looks a little confused. She also has these weird butterflies in her hair, and she kind of seems out of it. So I think I'm going to name her Lily. The focus of this portrait is Lily's crazy, wild hair. Lily has always been a little forgetful. She can't remember the smallest things. So when she came across a mirror later on in her day, she was very confused to find butterflies in her hair. She couldn't remember if she had put them there herself or if she had walked through some type of a butterfly garden and they got stuck in her crazy, wild, unruly hair. Instead of freaking out about how crazy she might have looked, she decided to just shrug it off, and then she went about her day like normal. If you made it this far in the video and you are still not feeling creative, you should go ahead and watch this video next. It's a little bit older, I look different, Mike doesn't exist, but it is still a great video all about finding creativity. And I'll see you there.